It's week 2 in the fall season, so it's time to do week 2 of our AD podcast with Joe Roberts. Joe, how are we doing today?
Buddy, I'll tell you what, Rob, it's been a great week. It's been a hot week. I was saying the other day, the dog days of summer are here.
Yes, August has smacked us right in the face this week. There's no question. I do think the rain helped this morning because I kept talking about doom and gloom this afternoon of feeling like 100 degrees out, but I think the clouds and the rain might have helped us a little bit.
They did. I think it provided, obviously, from a space perspective, it provided some relief to our facilities. The grass needed a little water, and the stadium needed a little water to cool it down a little bit. It's that time of year as we are in the end of August, 1st of September, and we all are gonna, we're getting accustomed to it and used to seeing these higher temperatures. And obviously, as Jimmy Buffett once said, the rhyme or reason to hurricane season. I guess we can say the same thing in Cincinnati with all the weather changes we have. So,
No
but we're
question.
looking forward to. It's been a great week for Viking athletics, despite all the changes that we've had to make. Whether it's been reschedules of events, practices going from outside to inside, practices going later in the evening, whatever the adjustment has been, our coaches have done an amazing job. But also a big shout out to our athletic trainers and our sports medicine team who have been front and center to make sure our student athletes and our coaches are the best prepared that they can be each and every day.
Isn't that, let's talk about that a little bit, Joe. Isn't it great where the OHSAA is taking the lead? Because I know back when I played,
Mm-hmm.
that heck, they didn't have face masks back then.
Mm-hmm.
It really wasn't. We just went out there and they said, get another drink of water, or we had a few
Yeah.
more breaks. It wasn't managed, and it just feels like it's so much safer and smarter the way things are being managed today.
It is, Rob. And you were around probably with salt tablets too,
Yes,
right?
sir.
Don't forget the salt tablets. So,
Right.
um, it has been a twofold situation. There's a part of me that says I was talking to some friends of mine this week. Students today maybe don't aren't adjusted enough to the weather because they're not as outside as much as they were when we were growing up.
Right.
You and I also probably we grew up in a time where we didn't know about we're gonna postpone or delay practice because of a certain temperature. We just, like you just said, we went.
Right.
But the safety factor is so critical. And what the OHSAA did with its initiatives through sports medicine, what the advent of getting more and more athletic trainers involved and people in the sports medicine profession involved in monitoring student athletes, monitoring coaches, that's critical too. Monitoring personnel, I just think it's been a tremendous. We've made great strides in that path, and I think it's still an untouched opportunity to continue to grow. So it has adapted over the years for certain.
Yeah, and it's just so much safer. Yeah, it's probably create some issues with mom and dad and logistics and things like that. But at the end of the day, the safety of the student athlete and your coaches, it's paramount, and it's nice that it's a priority these days.
Yeah, it really is. It's good to see it, and it does. But I think you just used the word adapt here. Students adapt, parents adapt. Everyone's prepared now. They adjust. The key to us is making sure we get the communication out.
Right.
That's not always easy to do. If we,
You're right.
it's kind of like spring with baseball. All of a sudden, you're having a beautiful day, then 3:15 rolls around, and here comes this thunderstorm and shuts everything down, and you've got to be ready to adjust. But um, I do love the resiliency of our Vikings and the way they're able to adjust so quick when needed.
The football Vikings, the varsity team, traveled all the way up to Cleveland to play Elyria, and 41-7. What a great start for Coach Parker's varsity squad to get the season rolling.
Yeah, the fellas got beat early on a little trick play to start the game, and then they kind of got their feet settled underneath them. And offensively, I thought we looked really, really good, but defensively and from a special team standpoint, we really started to hone in as we gear into what you just said earlier about week 2. It was a great trip for our team. Elyria is a young program. They have some athletes, and they've got a brand new coach. But it was a great experience for our student athletes to be able to go and play. And Coach Parker and I were talking a little bit about it. Week 1's over, so now we need to be ready because we all know going into this um, going into this GMC, this conference schedule that we are now into, it is a meat grinder every Friday night for them, and they've got to be ready to go because there's no one opponent that's going to be head and shoulders over another this year. I think it's just going to be a pure battle.
Do you wish that do you think you and Coach Parker wish that you could have a one or two more non-league games before you jumped into the meat grinder, or is it okay just having one and going right into GMC play?
No, I'm the second. I'm the latter, and I think Coach Parker is too. Well, Coach Parker has said, and I often joke about this. He'll say to me when we were going down and trying to identify a week one opponent for this year, he would say, as long as it's not the San Francisco 49ers, he's okay. Um, but and I joke with him about that a lot. I believe having a full composite schedule from our conference is very beneficial for our student athletes. It brings about the conference structure that we need. I think that is what we're looking for here at Princeton. I think Coach Parker does not phase him. He's
Right.
ready. He wants to get his team ready. I think the key for us, I think the key in football is who you scrimmage and getting yourself going, because you want that first scrimmage to have no injuries and just kind of see somebody else different to
Sure.
hit other than your own teammate. You need your second scrimmage to really start to identify what's going to happen come week one. And then I think after that, you really start to find your way. And it does, does take us a little bit longer than some to come out. But once our guys get moving, I think that, we see the results, and I think they can happen pretty quick.
Pretty exciting. Well, Friday night, the Vikings travel to Lakota West. We're excited. ESP Media will be bringing you all the live action. You can get the link at VikeNation.org. It's free to fans to view. Just click on the link, and Lee Mowen and Zach Rangers will be bringing you all the play-by-play. I believe it's Lee's fourth year broadcasting for the Vikings, and I know the team is very excited. And it's going to be hot, but it's August. It's supposed to be hot, and it should be a great night for football.
Yeah, it's going to be a great night for football. It really is, Rob. I mean, we're excited. We've touted them, Princeton North, or that team up north. We're excited to get on our bus and go one exit north and square off with the Firebirds on Friday night. It's going to be a great football game.
Yeah, I agree. Let's switch to cross country. They've got to be excited. They've been running for practice forever. They finally get to get a meet in on Saturday, and they've got to be thrilled.
They are. They went up to this past Saturday. They had a chance to go and run the state course at Fortress Obest Park in the OHSA preseason invite, and that is purely about being able to get the kids on the course. And
Sure.
yes, you can set some really good baseline times, but it's about giving them that opportunity to see what that course is going to look like at the beginning of the year, and then say, hey, listen, we can come back here in November. Let's get ready. But really, really excited about getting to Voice of America this Saturday for our Viking cross country team. And mainly because not only is it the Lakota East invite, but that's the site of the GMC championship. And again, that's the site of the district championship. And so there is something about cross country and having course familiarity where
Sure.
they kind of get used to maybe how an area turns, or if there's one spot that has a heavier rock line than another, or whatever the course conditions may be. Getting that familiarity to them, I think that brings a little bit of consistency for our girls. But Coach Cobb and Coach Campbell, they certainly are ready for the excitement of the season. It is, it just seems like it goes so fast.
Right.
Although it falls in line with all of our other fall sports, it's just once you run every Saturday, it plays in. So looking forward to seeing some times that we get starting this weekend.
Sounds great. Well, boys and girls soccer are well underway now. Now that we fired the gun, and let's talk a little bit about soccer.
Yeah, the boys had a really great win last week against Loveland, and really, Coach Hyatt and his staff have done a very nice job of bringing in some open perspective in terms of switching up just a little bit of adjustments, what they do offensively and how they counter back on the defensive side. But um, we faced Moeller the other night, and we saw just how good Moeller is in soccer right now. And but again, much like Coach Parker in our football program, we need our kids to see who we're going to see in postseason play.
Right.
And the GMC is probably the toughest top to bottom conference that you can face in soccer. And so then when we look at these other Division I schools, we got to find who are we going to see, and what we could face down the road, because for our program, it is about building those blocks to postseason.
Right.
That's where our attack is going to be. Um, I think top to bottom, again, we're in a good mix of schools there. So boys soccer is really on a good run, and then girls soccer again, working on building numbers, working on getting the results we need. They've got a good one coming up this weekend, and so looking forward to watching them play. We had to cancel our match with Talawanda this week just due to the weather,
Right.
but we're going to get that rescheduled and moved down the road. So good things happening with Coach Bannister and his staff and our Lady Viking soccer program. And I think it's going to be an exciting fall as we really get into the heart of it.
Sounds great. Water polo's well into their season. I know Mason had that little invite last weekend. Everybody got a lot of games in, and so water polo. I'm sure the expectations are quite high, as they always are at the Natatorium at Princeton High School. A little update on water polo, Joe.
Yeah, they are high, but they're not high right now in terms of what we see because we have new coaches.
Okay.
They're all, as we talked about earlier, they're all Viking alums. They're all former Viking Wopoers, and they are doing an amazing job of building a team. We were so senior laden last year, in particular on the boys' side,
Right.
that we lost some key components there, and so it's almost a reset for us. But we have some great returning water polo players that are really doing an amazing job in the water. Um, this week we've had we were at Walnut Hills and looking forward to seeing what we can do as we move into and getting ready for our girls invite, which is coming up in the middle of September, and then of course the Packer Classic for our boys. But water polo is one of those sports where they are just building up for events like Ohio Cup that is
Sure.
held in Columbus, and then obviously getting ready for what happens in the region. We our JV boys last week did a great job of battling with St. X, and then our varsity boys just they went out there and competed, but they saw just the difference. When you have a little bit more veteran leadership, they can come get you quicker. But I think our kids know what they have to do to improve and what they have to do to go out there and set a tone as we look to the regional meet, because that'll be where we see things down the line for them.
And it was a good match against X.
Mm-hmm.
The varsity
It
match.
was.
It was not a blowout. It was close,
Mm-hmm.
and you're right. They get to see the bar where they need to get that W. And some back when my coaching days, when you're building that new team, when you graduated so many seniors, those were the fun seasons that you get to
Yeah.
do. You get to build, you get to coach, and watch it all come together. To me, those were the gratifying seasons.
Yeah, I really like what our coaches are doing with the kids because of what you just said. They're building, they're getting interest. We're seeing younger kids wanting to play. We're seeing kids that have never played before, hey, that swim for our swim team, and they're like, hey, I'd like to try water polo. So they're getting in the water and they're learning, and so it's been a really great
That's great.
season to watch so far.
Girls volleyball looks like they're road warriors, kind of like the football program. They're at Edgewood tonight, and then
Yeah.
they have a tri match Saturday at Monroe High School. So and then the following week, when we talk next week, talk about some home matches. But season's well underway.
Season's well underway. We headed to Northwest this week, the other night as well, and got us a nice win. And they went five, and I was talking to Coach Weller about it. She said, it was exactly kind of what we needed because it was five, but it was a great, incredible effort five, and it's really what we needed. Our girls battled, and they set themselves up for a great match across the board. And then of course heading to Edgewood tonight again, it's going to be another one of those matches where we could see Edgewood in the postseason. So let's see them now and kind of see what works from a rotation standpoint, from a serving standpoint, and then we build ourselves in because after this weekend, like you just said, we'll go have that tri match at Monroe for our varsity kids, and the JV kids will be here at Princeton. We'll host them here on Saturday. But once we start that GMC play, it is night in and night out. We're going to have to serve it up and be ready. And I really enjoy early on the onset as I walk through a practice.
Hmm.
I enjoy the enthusiasm that I see out of our volleyball players right now. I enjoy the fact that they're coming, they're back to school, and they seem to really are getting into that routine that every student athlete gets into at this time of year. So So it's nice to see them go from class to come out to the gym floor and play and get ready to go. And then now that we're into the regular season match schedule, it'll just kind of fall into play for them. So
Isn't it
looking
nice
forward
that
to the season.
the school flow and student athletes, and it's just everybody's back,
Yeah.
and it's just life seems normal again.
It does, you know, and we all are saying is we're a day closer to summer vacation, you know. I mean, but it starts as much as we say we need some more time to get things ready. It starts. The kids get here, they go right through classes, they do their daily routines, they go right to the practice facility or to the games or matches wherever they're going next, and then it's just like they hadn't forgotten about it,
Yep.
and summer's over, so we're counting down to May already.
Yep, sounds good. Well, let's end this week's show, Joe, with golf. I was going to ask you before we talked about the teams. Does the OHSA have the wet bulb and things for golf, since they can have umbrellas and shade with trees? Do they have that same um, hot testing for golf?
We do, and what our athletic trainers do, they will uh, give a reading here.
Okay,
If necessary, they can go to the site and provide a reading, but it also comes down to that site. So the golf course can make a determination, and our coaches, the two teams, can make a determination. Our girls had a match the other night against Little Miami,
okay.
and we actually delayed it. We just said, we're supposed to tee off at, I think it was 3:30 or 3 o'clock, and the course itself said, listen, we're going to hold your tee times. Let's give it about 90 minutes,
Let
60,
things cool
65
off.
minutes, and let it cool off a little bit, and then got them back out there. And so, but the golf course was very supportive of us being able to do that. So they were able to back end it. And of course, our athletic trainers, if they would have registered a reading where it's you cannot be out there, we would have pulled them back as well. But the kids do a very good job of managing that as well. But the wet bulb will follow whatever site it needs to follow,
Interesting.
and then we
I was
take the
always
recommendation.
curious about that.
Yeah, yeah.
That they can be under umbrellas and things like that, but that's great information. So let's
Mhm.
wrap talking boys and girls golf, Joe.
Well, it's I feel like the season's almost over.
They got to be almost halfway, right?
We've played so many matches, but you do that. It's like we talked about this last week. You try to get as much in as you can before the school year because you need to have that all out of your way because it takes so long to play the game. But
Yes.
coming into the end of last week, our coaches scheduled a match with CHCA, and it was a boy girl match. So we paired the boys and the girls together and sent them out at Glenview. And I was there, and it was a great opportunity to watch how the boys and the girls from both schools can be together
Interesting.
and playing with and helping each other out as they're on the course.
It's awesome.
You hit the ball in the woods, they all go. They're like little bees. They all
Yeah.
go and find that golf ball together, and so it was a wonderful thing to watch them do. And our golf coaches have done some great stuff on the girls' side. We're gonna have a glow ball event in September
Fun.
at Tri County Golf Ranch, and we've got a lot of teams that want to play in it. We're going to, because we're trying to make the game fun for our student athletes. So once they get into it and they know once they learn to enjoy it, they're going to learn to love it and they're going to work through it. But it's been really interesting. We had to cancel our match with Taylor today that was at the Mill. Obviously, we did that just with the impending weather. But the boys will be back at it. They're gearing up for the Hadley,
Okay.
which is supported by Bishop Fenwick, and it's played at Glenview. That's where our boys are really starting to gear into that season, and
I love
the
Glenview.
girls are kind of building into what's going to happen with the GMCs.
Yeah, that's great. Well, it sounds like everything's all rolling for the Vikings.
Yeah.
I appreciate your time, Joe. Best of luck to all the Viking teams this week and this weekend. Stay cool, and then we'll touch base next week and talk about your home opener and all the great things that you have going week 3 with Princeton Vikings. But once again, Joe, thanks for your time, and have a great week.
Thanks, Rob.